Whitney.
And I'm Blakely.
And welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to read a story while doing a handstand, and my sister is going to help me turn the pages. Let's get started. Only what's in your heart counts. Hidden in the coral with the pinkish hue swims an itty-bitty fish whose color is blue. Little fish has plain scales, no stripes or pattern. All the fish at fish school are mean and sour. Little fish is sad. Why am I so different? It's fine to be different, says Mama Fish. Remember, only what's in your heart counts. The very next day at fish school, Little Fish is ignored as usual. He watches the other fish play at recess and sits on the sand during lunch. After his meal, he grabs his history books. At least my teacher's nice to me, Little Fish says to himself with a sigh, then swam to class. Fish were created on the 5th day of creation, his teacher says in history class. Then the bell rings and school's all done. But before you leave, students, I have an announcement to make. The fish gather around and the teacher states, "We're going on a field trip to the sea anemone garden tomorrow. For this trip, everyone will need to pick a partner." The fish swarm about, hoping to find who they wanted. All of the fish had partners except for him. The other fish were laughing and whispering about him. Little Fish started to cry. "Don't worry, Little Fish. I'm your partner," said the teacher. When Little Fish swam home and sobbed to his mom, he told her what happened. "Little Fish," Mom said, "you are altogether beautiful, my darling, beautiful in every way. It doesn't matter what's on the outside, but what's on the inside. Remember, God says people judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Someday everyone will see that. Tomorrow, when you go to school, be courageous and kind, no matter how mean the other fish are. Remember, only what's in your heart counts." "Okay, Mama, I will," said Little Fish and cuddled up tight next to her. The next day was exciting. The sea anemone garden was breathtaking. There were fish everywhere you looked. The sea anemones were huge, and Little Fish was amazed. After lunch, in the corner of his eye, he saw one of the mean fish by himself far away. Little Fish was concerned. He wanted to see what was wrong with his main bully. The next day was exciting. The sea anemone garden was breathtaking. There were fish everywhere you looked. The sea anemones were huge, and Little Fish was amazed. After lunch, in the corner of his eye, he saw one of the mean fish by himself, far away. Little Fish was concerned. He wanted to see what was wrong with his main bully. He swam over and noticed something bad. The mean fish had gotten stung by an anemone. Little Fish remembered what his mom had said and thought for a while, then thought back to science class. When you take a piece of coral, snap it in half, then rub it on the scales, it will numb the stung part and take the poison out, his science teacher said. "That's it, I can help." Little Fish swam to the nearest coral and got to work. By then, more fish saw and didn't know what to do. Little Fish came back with the coral and healed the injured fish. All the fish realized that Little Fish was special. They apologized for being rude and swam in circles. "Hip hip hooray," they sang. "Little Fish is a hero." After the field trip, he raced home. He told his mom what had happened. They both jumped with joy and said in sync, "Only what's in your heart counts."